LwCad 2018 Railings. In this video, I will show you how easily and quickly you can create interactive parametric railing objects. This video is done with 3D Studio Max, but same way you can apply these tools in Cinema 4D. So all the objects you are seeing right now are created with LwCad railing tools, and you can create them with just a couple of clicks. In current version of LwCad, you have three different ways how you can create parametric railing objects. First, by using line rail primitive, so the railing object is a separate object. Second way is to use stair rail object, which is object attached to existing stair object as a child. And the third way is to use stair object with the railing preset included, so it is just one single object with included railing object. All these three cases are using same railing presets, and it is using same railing parameters as it is here in this panel. Now let's try each of these methods very quickly. First, line rail. Line rail is simple tool which is based on line, curve or spline tool, and you're just drawing a rail with this primitive, and you can of course switch between different existing presets, or you can directly adjust these parameters in railing panel. In second method, we need to create first some stair object. This will be our parent object, and second step will be to create a rail stair object and create it by clicking on existing object, and it will automatically link stair rail object to existing stair object. So now we have two objects linked together as a parent and child, and you can edit them separately. So let's say for the stair you can still adjust handles, delete, add, so it is live interactive stair object, and same it is for also for attached child here. So you can also separately change the parameters of railing, or change to, let's say, another presets. And the last third method is directly with a stair tool. So you just create stair object, and within stair object we have here a railing option, so just switch to existing presets and you can use directly existing created presets. And this is the simplest version, because we have only single object, no hierarchy nor linking. But you need to have already existing parameter, because in this case you don't have access to these parameters. So if you need to create presets, it is better to use the option 1 or 2, better 2 for stairs. And if you already have stairing presets, you can go directly by this way. And now let's take a look on how railing generator is actually working. So all the parameters are here in this railing panel. These parameters for railing generator are separated into 5 sections: railing, sub-railing, posts, sub-posts and filling. You can use each this subsection separately, or you can mix them together. All you need for the railing generator is a source path. This source path is taken from in this case in Rail 2, source path is this polyline or curve. When you use railing generator with stairs, the source path is taken from a stair object. So in simple words, railing needs to have source path and these parameters, and the final object is generated from these inputs. Easiest way how you can learn these parameters and how to set them is to try each parameter on real object, and you will immediately understand what it means. So top three parameters: high, low, offset. High is top level of railing, low is bottom level of railing, and offset is offset into sides from a railing path. Next, I will first reset all parameters to use a default reset preset. So now everything is disabled and we can start with railings. So when I enable railing, then you can set curve, rectangle or circle profile. Curve is reserved for future development. Now you can use only rectangle or circle profile. So main railing is just extruded rectangle or circle profile along the railing path, but on the high level, so top level. You can change size of this railing and you can also extend ends outside or inside. Subrailing have same possibilities to use a rectangle or circle profile, and you can set how many clones of subrail will be used here with this count parameter. Also you can set a size of this subrail and also extend parameter, same as rail. And with high drift and low drift you can position these clones between the top rail and low level bottom. So here you can set low drift, and with high drift you can change gap between the main rail and first subrail on the top. So with this combination you have plenty of possibilities how to create rails and subrails. Next section is for creating posts. So we will reset this again, and by enabling posts you can create curve-based posts, posts created from rectangle profiles or circle profiles. You can set also size of that profile, and when offset of the railing is enabled you can set also L-shape option for the profile, so post will be L-shaped, or disable it. And last option is here the placement mode. So default segment ends mode means that posts are placed on the endpoints of each segment of the railing path. When we switch to rail ends, then posts are placed only on the beginning and end of the railing path. And with the corner ends mode, I will start over. In corner ends mode, the segments or posts are placed only on segment endpoints which are on the corners. So we are skipping these points where these segments are lined up. So this is corner ends mode. Next section is for creating sub-posts. Sub-posts are section which helps you to create additional posts which are filling space between main posts. So when I disable posts and enable sub-posts, which works very similar way, so you can create curves, rectangles, profiles, circle profiles, you can change size, you can define L shapes, same as with posts, but we are filling space inside segments. So we can define number of sub-posts which should be filled the space in between these segment corners, segment points, and we can choose between two methods, absolute and relative. With relative we define exactly how many of the sub-posts will be placed, and with absolute method we are defining exact distance which we want to have between these sub-posts, and the number of sub-posts are calculated depend on how long these segments are. Additional options here are high drift and low drift. For this I will enable top railing so you can see, and with high drift we are changing top level of the subpost and low drift low level. To see this more clearly, I will enable also posts, and I will enable also subrails. Let's make them 2 and make high drift and low drift. Oops, again high drift. So now you can see the purpose of these additional high-low drifts. So you can make railings like this. Now disable it all back to none, and finally start and drift. When it is 0, the difference is between two methods of placement, inside and along. In inside, we are placing inside, filling space inside, not from beginning of segment to end of segment, but inside. If we choose the placement to along segments, then we are filling subpost from the beginning and end of each segment. But now we have double subposts here on each beginning and end of the segment, so we need to move them with start and drift. So that is the purpose of start and drift, to avoid this duplicity. So this is all for subposts. And finally the fillings. With fillings enabled, you're creating surfaces in between all previous elements. You can set a thickness of this filling. With 0, it is just flat polygons. With some value, you're creating a 3D object. And you can set how this filling are filled. So you have options along the railing and from the bottom to top. So along railing you can fill in along segments, along rail, between posts, between subposts, and between posts and subposts. So I will keep it as along segments. And from the top to low, you can fill space between low and high value of railing and between subrails. And 3 additional options are here. You can set drifting from the high. So for this I will enable top railing so you can see as a curve, and I will set a post into end segments so you can see boundaries now. So high drift is drift from the top, low drift drift from the bottom, and start and drift in this case is drift from each end of the segment.